Well, it's time to give this thing a little bit of loving. Needs a few things for our state inspection here. And let's start with the parts list. This is kickstart only bike. Why do we want a battery? Well, it's just a convenience factor for a couple of reasons. One, I'm going to be able to run my lights just with the key on or the horn. Two, it's going to be able to charge my phone. That's probably the most important one. And three, it's nice, a convenience factor. Turn the key, you can see if it's in neutral or not. It's about 20 bucks. Next, have a new brake lever to put on. Look at the one that's on here. The end snapped off. So we have a new one of those. Have some bulbs to put in, turn signals out. Now see this tear on the seat here? I got some little stick-on leather patch. So we'll try that. If I end up keeping this bike for a while, it would be worthy of getting a nicer seat. But we'll see how we like it. We'll run it this year and see if we're going to keep it or not. What do you think, guys? You think we need a new air filter? Looking pretty crusty, right? So I picked up a new air filter. We're going to stick that in. One thing I noticed too is it is bogging above 8,000 RPM. So take the carb apart and run it through the ultrasonic and look into the high-speed jet, see if it's clogged or not, or if that needs adjusted. I'm just guessing right now. I didn't do any research on it at all, so I'll do some checking into that, see what we need to do with the carb. Just want to get it to be able to rev out all the way. We need all our little ponies that we can get out of this 250 engine. So this is a 1990 Suzuki DR250s. Kickstart. All right, so a good place to start probably would be starting the bike, right? Put my gas on and pull my choke out all the way. And now I'm going to prime it. Do about 6 or 7. Here's the decompression lever right here. And then as I rotate the kicker, it pops out. Once that pops out, that's at top dead center and you're ready to kick. Give it a good kick and hopefully we get it first time. Let's see. No. All right, let's try again. Set my decompression lever. Let that pop out again. Okay, let's just prime it a few more times. Okay, decompression lever. Enough primer kicks. I'll probably adjust that number up. Maybe we'll do about 10 primer kicks before we do our first starting kick. Anyways, I think our battery will help with the light flickering too. All right, there we go. We got our little tiny battery installed. That should be fine. Air filter oil. So here's our frame. Let's hook him up in there. Put our cover back on here. I try to rule out from here back. So put a bulb in and just put it right on the battery. Let's see what we can find out here. I mean, definitely should be lighting up, so maybe we just have a bad socket there. Yeah, that shouldn't have been turning off. So we got a bad socket. Oh well. We'll have to get a new one of them. I found a new socket base, and it just came from Jungle website. Fits the same lens cover that was on there before. Cut a little bit extra and then we'll wrap it around. Okay. Good enough. Let's figure out what's going on with this horn. We'll use the electrical tester for this also. So watch right there. I hit the horn button. It goes to 10.5 volts right away. Let off, press on. There we go. So we have power coming to this. The horn's just not working. There's the filter. Now that has some crud on it for sure. That was worth pulling out. We'll get that cleaned up. And here is the fill tube. And dipstick. So next I'm going to take apart the carb and clean that up. Alright, got this pulled off. All it had was the throttle cable connection and the fuel line. That was it. At first glance it seems pretty clean. Okay, so that's inside the bowl. That does look a little filthy inside there. Alright, let's take these out of here. Cleaning fluid looks sturdy. This looks nice and clean. That was in for 8 minutes. Look at that. Right, I've had this in here for probably 15 minutes. Just keep flipping it over, getting different sides of it, because it's pretty small, doesn't fit in there, but it's doing a good job. After I took it out of the ultrasonic, I cleaned it up real good with that. Just a final spray down. We'll let that dry. But look how nice and clean that gets. About 20 minutes of flipping it over in the little ultrasonic. All nice and cleaned up. Ready to put back together. Alright, man, running good so far. We'll have to take it out for a street run and see if it rips a little bit better at the high RPMs. She is at idle. Yeah. Pretty good idle setting. She runs nice. Alright. We got our turn signals working. Got the, put a new horn on. Nice and loud. Got our battery in, oil's changed, carb is cleaned. Still waiting on a new brake lever. And wiring something up for charging the phone while I'm riding. I need a transformer for that. But all in all, looking good. These foot pegs are pretty rusty, so we're going to we wire brush them and cleaned them up, and gonna hit them with some spray paint. Couple minutes spent on painting the foot pegs. Nice improvement just painting those. I did a quick spray job with some black header spray that I had. Just clean it up a little bit. Revs out all the way now, so that problem is fixed. One other thing I might look at is the brakes. The front brake seems like it could use a little bit of attention. It's not the grabbiest. I'm not sure if that's common with those bikes or that's how it should be, but I'd like a little more stopping power on the front, so I'm going to check into that. Besides that, though, it was a good test ride. I mean, it ran good. Not a ton of power. You gotta you gotta just keep the RPMs high and let it rip. But yeah, she'll get moving. I had it up to about 60, 65. So not too bad. Got our new brake lever on. Also swapped out the clutch lever since it came in the same set, and the other one was curled up. I guess some guys like that curl, but you can get more leverage on it. It's easier to pull if you're out at the end of the handle there. I have to get a new pivot bolt for that. All right, just to follow up on the front brakes, they definitely did get much improved feel by putting on the new brake lever and adjusting the pin. So I'm pretty happy with the stopping power now. It was just a matter of the extra leverage from the brake lever and having that pin adjusted in a little bit more, and they feel like they should now. So just wanted to follow up with that. I'm going to make a little luggage rack for this now. I should say I'm going to modify a luggage rack. So this is like a Harley CVO rack. It was about 50 bucks, but I'm going to narrow it a little bit and then put on some side loops for some saddlebags on the side, just some soft bags. Mounting tabs on here that'll bolt this down to this back hoop. And also what I'm holding in my hand is this is a 12 volt to 5 volt converter, and that's going to be for phone charging. I'm going to hook this up to the battery and it takes it down to 5 volts, and then I have my charger cord here and the other end of the cord is up here. Alright, that's how it'll go. Like that and like that. Keep the front of that about even with the back of the seat. We'll just do one flat plate and one flat plate. And then it'll bolt down to it with 2 bolts. This is going to be our mounting plate. It's going to go in this vicinity underneath, and one down on the back bar of the bike. And I got this 3/8 solid round tube just from Big Box Store, and I'm going to make a hoop on each side that goes down, and that's going to hold these soft bags. So eventually, once it gets mounted, it'll be about that height. That's the shape we're shooting for with each of these bars. Here we go. I'll try to replicate that as close as we can with a lesser bend on one side and a tighter bend on the other, just so it looks more symmetrical. So we'll put that towards the front. It's going to be aerodynamic. We'll put that towards the front. The wind will bounce right off of that. This will get welded to the bottom. Alright, so they didn't make a luggage rack for this bike anymore, but we just got one and we modified it. We took the width in a little bit. We added these bars on the side for our soft bags and a mounting point, and it's going to sit just like that. A little bit of clearance in there to the exhaust. Don't want to burn the bag. We got room for a big dry bag up top here too. Alright, at least in these, well, this was on the bike. Uh-oh. That is a incorrect diameter. Here's the current state of affairs with the DR250. Took the forks off to get the fork seals redone, taken it to a shop for that part. And then I have a new rear sprocket coming. One I got didn't fit. I had a problem finding the correct rear sprocket for this bike. The one that came with the kit that was supposed to fit this bike didn't fit. And the previous one that was on there was a 50 tooth, and the one that came in the kit I got was 49 tooth. So then I had to go down the rabbit hole of trying to find the right center bore and the right bolt spacing that would fit on the wheel that I had. I don't know if the wheel I have is original or not, but I did end up finding the sprocket that I need after doing some measuring and doing some digging on the interwebs. So I ended up finding this company, and it's JT Sprockets, and they have quite a few different varieties of different sizes, and I was able to find the one that fit. Most of the websites that you go on, you're just going to find like sizing for, like, you put in your model of your bike. But that wasn't going to work in my case, so I needed to find some kind of information that would tell me the exact center bore and bolt spacing, and it's the correct pitch for my chain that I got, so we should be in business with this. JTR 82250. We can see it's the same size. You can see how rounded off the old ones are versus the new ones. Okay, we have our wheel mounted back up. On the snail piece, it's on position, the very first indentation on each side, so the wheel's as far forward as it can go while we fit the chain, and it has the safety pins in. Brake is remounted on that side. So now we're ready to, on the front sprocket I had previously put on. Took 2 links off. Hopefully we're the right length here now. Should be. 112 links was what I needed for this. And first chain was 110. Second one was 114. So it's an X-ring 520 pitch, which I think is pretty common. But with the 50 tooth on the back, it definitely needed the 112 links. 110 was not going to work even with the tightest adjustment. This has a mastered link. We have our 4 gaskets. Two sides of the chain, and then this is our connector that snaps in. And then this goes towards the front. The closed end goes towards the front. Okay, there we go. Chain is on. So we'll put about 1 inch of play in, tighten it up a little bit, both sides. Okay, here she is, back on her own 2 feet. Alright, let's give it the test. Alright, that feels pretty strong. I don't think that's gonna break. I think that's as much as we're gonna do now with the repairs. So I did paint a couple items just so it looks a little bit nicer, a little less janky. And got our rack on, so we're ready for a trip. New chain and front forks. Turn signal fixed. Those were kind of all safety things. They needed to be done. Alright, so now it's just time to get out in the forest, get on some gravel roads. Maybe some forest roads, maybe some single track. We'll see how comfortable and confident we're feeling, and have some fun with it.